Heyo, homeowners, DIY, and professional landscapers. My name is Hudson, and today we're going to be talking about low-maintenance landscapes. Yes, indeed, that mythical beast does indeed exist, and today we're going to talk about how you can install a low-maintenance landscape to save yourself more time, less stress, and more money on your landscape. Speaking of which, I want to save you time, stress, and money on your landscape, so in order to do that, I've taken all 15 years of my landscape experience and condensed them down into a simple step-by-step guide that will help you to walk through how to design, install, and maintain your landscape. And I want you to have that for free as a way of saying thanks for hanging out with me today, and possibly to save you even more time so that you can just skip this video and get right to designing and installing your dream landscape. So you can find that in the link below this video or in the QR code in the corner. All right, let's talk about this landscape, this maintenance-free landscape. First of all, I want to be really clear with you. The idea of a maintenance-free landscape is a myth. It doesn't exist. There are landscapes, however, that take way less maintenance than your average landscape. Your average landscape has mulch, flowers, your general gardener, who's your great Uncle Greg, who keeps the rabbits out and is out in his overalls every day, out in the garden, and he tends that thing like it's his child, because maybe to him it is. I don't know. Anyway, that's not your dream life. You don't want to be doing that. And so you want a maintenance-free landscape or a low-maintenance landscape. Basically, what low maintenance boils down to are three things. One, we've got evergreens. Two, we've got river rock. And three, we have a simple design layout. Now, a lot of times what happens is someone puts one pine tree on the corner of their house and they're like, there, it's good. And then in 3 years, that pine tree has eaten the corner of their house. No one can walk across their front walk entryway, and it's kind of hard to get into their driveway. So what we want to do is make this simple design, easy to maintain, and as cost effective as possible. Now, speaking of cost, there's another thing about low maintenance landscapes. They are expensive up front to put in. However, in the long run, they tend to be a little cheaper. When you're designing a landscape, you're generally looking to put in a 15-year horizon. That means if you start fresh, bare dirt today, and you put in your landscape, you would want to cut it down and start over again in 15 years. And the reason for this is that plants grow, and if you just let them grow and you don't trim them at all, they are going to overgrow the house. And landscapes are supposed to frame a house, not be the main attraction to your home. So if you want to really increase the curb appeal of your home and not drown it out, then you're going to want plants that are 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, whatever it happens to be whenever you sell your place, look great and really frame the house instead of being taking over it and making it look like some wicked old witch of the West lives there. All right, let's talk about it. Evergreens. Evergreen plants are pretty slow growing in general, and they can be shaped and trimmed. If you're dealing with any kind of tree, like a spruce or a pine tree of any kind, even arborvitae I would classify as a type of tree because it grows in a tree form oftentimes, you're going to want to plant this further away from the house. And a huge mistake that a lot of people make is they plant a globe spruce really close to their front door, or like an arborvitae on the corner of their house, maybe 2 to 3 feet away. And the problem with this is that in 7 years, 8 years, that thing has completely taken over that area. So when you are designing and spacing out your plants and your evergreens, just know if you want to spend more maintenance on your evergreens, you're going to want to have to plant them closer together, because then you're going to have to trim them more often. And if you want a little less maintenance, then you just put a few in key spots and key areas, like in front of your garage, in front of the front walk leading up past your garage to the front door, next to your front door, maybe some century boxwoods, and then along the rest of the house under the windows, maybe some boxwoods that you can just trim into a hedge and make them look really nice and neat. Another great thing about evergreens is that evergreens are a really classic old money move, because old money doesn't want to spend a ton of money on plants. And so I install landscape for very wealthy people all the time, and a lot of the time what we use And what we plan on is evergreens because they look nice all year round. They make the house look great no matter what season it is. And they will last for a really, really, really long time, especially if you maintain them. All right, so evergreens are the first thing. And then the next thing is river rock. Now, river rock is better than mulch in a lot of people's minds because it's less maintenance, because rocks don't decay and rocks don't wash out of your landscape beds. However, rocks are way, way more expensive up front. So as long as you know that that's the case coming into it, then you're going to be okay. Also, mulch can't be caught in mower blades and thrown through your window, which is a little more expensive in the long run if that happens with rocks in your landscape. So just something to consider when you're putting in river rock. Another thing to consider is that weeds can still grow up through river rock, and generally river rock takes an underlayment called weed mat, which you'd think would keep all the weeds out, but it really doesn't. It doesn't keep weeds from coming up through, so you're going to have to be comfortable with chemicals or some kind of treatment to spray on those rocks to let it seep down through the cracks and keep the weeds from germinating at all. And even then, there's going to be some weeds that might spring through and come through those rocks. And if you don't pull those, then your house is going to look like it's something from an abandoned amusement park. So make sure that when you put in your rocks, that you treat them right and you are doing the little bit of maintenance that you need to do in order to make them look great all year round. Okay, and then the last thing that we're going to talk about is keeping it simple. Simple landscapes are the easiest to maintain. Instead of doing 5 trees, maybe do 3 trees. The caveat to this is that if you want a good looking landscape and you want it to be well designed, then you don't want to just put 1 tree on one side of the house and 1 tree on the other side of the house. What you want is key areas of the house to have the right amount of plants. So next to a front door or an entryway, you're going to want to put sentries. This is generally a pyramid-shaped tree, and by tree, what I mean is a boxwood or a shorter plant that's going to be about up to your waist, and you can trim it to keep it nice and contained. And then in front of or under windows, you're going to want to keep a low hedge. This is just a really nice way to frame the house. Think of the house like a picture and the landscape like its frame. The house is the main attraction. However, the frame can really augment that picture and make it look really great. So in front of the garage, generally I would do a sentry out in front, where if you got your driveway coming into your garage and then you've got a front walk going around, right in that space between the garage, the driveway, and the front walk, I would put a sentry tree, so like another of those pyramid boxwoods. And then in front of the garage, between the garage and the front walk, I would put a row of boxwoods, and then along maybe the front porch or something, another row of boxwoods, not too many. And then if you've got a low bay window or something off to the other side, maybe something over there like three little boxwoods, or maybe some junipers or low-lying plants that are creeping. There are junipers that do that, but those things grow so fast that I'm really hesitant to encourage you to plant them unless you live on hilly areas, because on hills they can look really great, but I've struggled to see a landscape wherein that looks good long term. Phlox, creeping phlox, if you're looking for perennials, is a great one to plant in and among your river rock as you're coming up the front drive or front walk to the front door. So there are a couple different options. You can look up evergreens that grow well in your area. And if you use the step-by-step guide in the link below this video, it'll walk you through how to set up the design for those evergreens. So I don't really need to tell you any more about that right here. So depending on what kind of look you're going for, what you really want out of your landscape, whether you want sophistication or simplicity or just ease of landscape or the HOA to get off your back, these are some tips and tricks that will help you to make your landscape look just a little bit better and be way less maintenance. All right, thanks for joining me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button if you found this enjoyable. And most of all, make sure that you save yourself time, stress, and money and pick up that free guide down below or in the QR code in the corner. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next